Hello everyone and welcome to this special 10,000 subscriber Q&A. It's, you know, the 10,000 subscribers is commonly seen in many ways as one of the big milestones for any YouTuber. So I thought it would be nice to have...
Not many. Many people who get
yeah, not many, yeah. So obviously...
Small world.
I thought it would be nice to celebrate this with some of the people who've shared the journey. So on my left here, we have Elwood, who is one of the founding members of the Fanatics. We've got Frederick of the House Williams, who is also, not really, but kind of. And then we've got Jasper, who is kind of there.
Well, I was there when it started.
Yeah, but okay, so basically also, so how this video will work is that we're gonna...
To be fair, I was in the first episode.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna explain the origins, because a lot of people seem to want to know about that. And then we're going to answer all of the fan questions, or the user submitted questions. As a quick origin story of how it all started, we all went to the same school, and this was when we were about 14 or 15. And then I was really inspired by the Screen Junkies movie fights, and I wanted to do one of those. So we kind of got the... Can you turn that off? No one likes you. You're not important.
Excuse me.
And then we decided that we were going to kind of come together and do a video about films, because we had nothing better to do with our lives. So what I did was I got Elwood and I got Williams and this other guy called Ned, who sadly could not be here with us today, and we filmed our first ever video. And then after that, Williams and Ned got very humiliated, so they just kind of, they exited the picture.
Erased it from existence.
And then
it's not erased, it's still there.
And then, however, once Williams and Ned left, Jasper comes in, as the knight in shining armor, so to speak,
and does nothing.
And he's like, oh mate, I've got so many ideas, I've got a vision. And basically what happened was he came to do one video when we ranked the MCU films at the time, and halfway through he just kind of got up and said, I don't want to do this anymore, then walks out. Like, he doesn't say anything and he walks out. So basically that meant that from then on, it was they were really thinning the herd. So it was just me and Elwood, and it was the summer holidays, so we disappeared for a while.
Yeah.
We came back, we did a bunch of videos. After a while, and it was going really well, and by really well I mean like terribly, because we were shit. And fun fact, quick fun story, there was this one time where we filmed a review for The Magnificent Seven, which is a half decent film. And essentially what happened was Elwood, when you film one of these videos, what I do is I plug the camera into the computer, I drag the files into the computer, and then I start editing. What Elwood did as our, valuable editor was he would plug the camera in, delete the clip off the camera, then turn to me and said, oh yeah, by the way, Panwa, I may or may not have deleted the video, so we might have to film it again.
No, I didn't do that.
Yes, you did. No, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. He's also a pathological liar.
No, I started editing the clip, but deleted it off the camera anyway.
Okay.
So I had the only clip I had of it was on iMovie,
Right,
and then it crashed.
Yeah.
And then it crashed, and then we didn't have anything. We had to refilm it.
And then after a while, and then Elwood's sort of incompetence really got to me. And then after a while, we were going to do a Doctor Strange review, which we actually filmed, and then Elwood was meant to edit it. And then Elwood disagrees with me, but I do have living evidence from Jack Lai, who was there with me. By the way, special shout out to Jack Lai, one of our friends.
Is he going to watch this though?
Probably not. But I went into Elwood room to retrieve my camera because he was meant to edit. And then it turned out that Jack Lai and me found out that Elwood had slept on my camera, or slept with my camera, and broke the lens. So that was when me and Elwood cut ties, and then that was when the Fanatics civil war began, because Elwood then formed a channel called Movie Maniac, which was very long lasting.
Yeah, really.
Two video long. And then Jasper, just to piss me off, would say that I've changed my allegiances to the Movie Maniacs, but not really, because he was just really saying it to piss us off. And then after me and Elwood kind of became friends again, even though I still hate him. And then we started making films. Our first film together was a film called Web of Lies. All of this is on the channel, you can watch it. Web of Lies is probably my favourite film, but also the worst film I've ever made and I'll ever make.
What about One Bad Day?
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that one. And then Web of Lies, because Web of Lies is actually based on Elwood's life, because he's such a liar, right? And then
every claim he makes in that video is a claim he's made in real life.
In real life, it's an exaggeration of a claim he made in real life. And then after Web of Lies, the film that I made in Thailand, which I've broken down on the channel before, you can go watch that. And then after that was like the Ridgemount House Ents video, which is quite fun. And then after that was my first collaboration with Jasper. We made like a black and white Sherlock Holmes film together, which was very over the top and kind of shit, but I also absolutely love it. After that was a film called War Paint, which we made with two other members of our kind of group
Not anyone like that.
by the name of Tim and LaHodge, and that was good fun. That's Jasper's favourite out of all my films, even though I don't love it personally.
That looks the best.
And then after that was Unforgettable, which was my favourite film out of all the ones we've done. All of these guys are in it. Then after that was a film called Parcel with Jasper
Is Elwood in?
Elwood is in Unforgettable. He dies at the beginning.
Oh, he dies.
And yeah, Elwood's sort of like my
So
Sean Bean.
So-
Elwood is my Sean Bean in the sense that he dies in all of my films.
Yeah.
And then so there's one called Parcel with Jasper is in, and then Jasper dies in that one. And then after that was one called Cigarettes, Regrets, Not Interference, which is my favourite kind of on-set experience, really. It was the most fun.
It was one long day.
It was one long day.
Long day.
And after that comes the feature film that we're making. Oh, we're not going to talk too much about that. So hopefully that is sort of the humble origins of the Flick Fanatics. How it
So
started
Fanatics
with
has
like
got
5
two
people.
sides. You've got your films and you've got your videos.
Videos, and you've got,
films.
and yes, and you've also got the people who are competent and committed, and then you've got the Elwoods.
Yeah.
So
So
anyway,
we film the movie side,
Yeah.
not the
yeah.
YouTube
But I mean,
side.
Williams has never been in one of my videos like this before. Elwood has been
This
in
is
a
a
lot.
new experience for
Yeah.
me.
I bailed last time.
Yeah, so you walked out halfway through. Anyways, let's start off with some of the questions because we've got quite
Well,
a
you're in
few.
the Oscar reaction.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, but
yes,
I
he
was
was.
just-
Yeah, he was
I was
asleep.
asleep.
So we're going to go through all of the questions in appropriate detail, but a lot of the common questions that have been asked, I'm going to answer first. So like, I feel like I already kind of answered how the YouTube channel started, but a lot of people have also asked, what are my favourite films, what are my favourite directors, what kind of got me started with filmmaking, and also what are my favourite foreign films. So I'm just going to say my favourite films, Whiplash and Inception are my favourite films. Then there's like The Dark Knight, Prestige, American Psycho, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, La La Land, and then like Lion King, Casino Royale, Inglourious Basterds, The Departed, The Social Network, and American Beauty. My favourite directors are, like, I mean, I love Nolan, and I've watched, like, he's made all of my favourite films, but I don't, because some people ask what my favourite directors, and some people ask what my most influential directors are, and what my aesthetic is as a filmmaker, and it's quite different. So, like,
His aesthetic is the Joker.
what?
No, I didn't mean
No,
to
that
say
is that grinds my, yeah, no, because I've just started,
No,
yeah. But the people that
If you're going to contribute,
yeah, if you're going to contribute,
if you're going
yeah.
to contribute,
If anyone
something,
says one of my films is
contribute
heavily
something
Joker inspired,
I just did.
fucking kill some. Yeah, no, but so I guess like the people, the directors in the film that have influenced me the most. I love Sam Mendes. I already talked about it before. I love Cary Fukunaga. I already talked about it before.
Damien Chazelle, yeah.
I love Damien Chazelle. I talked
That's all
about
he
it
ever
before.
talked
It is.
I really like Barry Jenkins. Yeah, no, and then like a lot of like foreign filmmakers. I like Wong Kar-wai because I think in the Mood for Love is one of my most influential films. I mean, I really like the Korean stuff like Bong Joon-ho and Park Chan-wook. Although I have to, from now on, I have to always preface by saying I liked Bong Joon-ho before Parasite because a lot of people are jumping on the hype train because they've only found out about him now. I've always liked him. And then like older filmmakers, I love David Lean and Alfred Hitchcock, obviously, and like Kubrick and Kurosawa and that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyway. And then a lot of people ask me what my favorite foreign films are. Again, in the Mood for Love is up there, Heroes up there, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragons up there. I mean, Seven Samurai is an obvious one. Ran, I think, is his best looking film visually. Kagemusha has the best protagonist, or my favorite one, and the best story. The coolest moment is in Sanjuro at the end, which my favorite Kurosawa moment at the end is the standoff. Ikiru is his most emotional film for me. I also love Tokyo Story. I love Harakiri. And Battle Royale, which apparently is Quentin Tarantino's favorite. Battle Royale is Quentin Tarantino's favorite film, apparently. So I love that one as well. And when it comes to like anime stuff, I don't watch a lot, but Princess Mononoke is my favorite Studio Ghibli one.
Film.
And one of my favorite moments, the moment where I realized it was like this shit is next level, was when the main guy's fighting the bad guys and he gets an arrow shot at him and then he catches the arrow and then shoots it back, and I was like, that's very cool.
I need to see that film again. I haven't seen that in ages.
Which one?
So those are some of my favorite foreign films. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. What made me want to make films? Well,
Well, I think the short answer to that is
yeah.
me.
No.
And all
I inspired him to be an
having
actor,
such
actually.
Great actors
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah, because
It's what you
there
need.
was my unprofessional
Feel-
incompetence.
Oh, shut up.
Well, no, I think I always like films a little bit more than the average Joe. And then when
A
I went,
little bit.
and then when I went to school with these guys, high school, because you were allowed more freedom. So like when instead of playing sports and like playing music like Jasper or doing something that would actually get me recognised as a human being at school.
Actually, I think I should just give a bit of an anecdote about how much you love films. When we went on our Leavers trip, he spent the day having two films playing at the same time. Wasn't watching either of them. He was watching a third one on his phone, and he had two playing on his laptop.
That is true. No, because I've gotten to a point where I transcend watching one film at a time.
It's just like absorbing.
No, it's telling them wisdom, man. And then after a while, when we started doing the YouTube stuff, that was kind of like the next step for me as like a content creator and stuff. And then
as a sculptor.
Yeah, as a sculptor and a creator. And then after that, making films was the logical next step, and we've made like 9 or 10 short films now, and it's gotten to a point where I want to challenge myself more, and the feature film is the logical next step.
Now, is the channel going to take the direction of more short films?
Yeah.
Or is it going to go back to just being lots and lots of reviews?
It's not so much reviews, it's more video essay stuff, and I want to do video essays as what I want to take the channel forward. However, obviously, if I will be doing fewer videos, because I'm committing to the feature film, right? So it's sort of a symbiotic relationship. But anyway, let's get started with like the more specific questions. The first one being, if someone could only watch 10 films in their lifetime, which ones would you recommend and why? This one's new, so I haven't read this. The Godfather, Lawrence of Arabia, Citizen Kane, 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Shining. That's 5. Some Hitchcock stuff like Psycho, North by Northwest. 7 Samurai, and then.
You can't go over 10.
Yes, I can't go over 10. Okay, so I'll take out for you and I'll put the Lord of the Rings trilogy as
I
one.
didn't watch any of it.
What's your favourite and least favourite film genre? My favourite. I like Western and I like sci-fi, and that's probably why I like Westworld more than most people, because it combines the two very well. And then I also like, it's not really a genre, but it's like a subgenre of like, you know characters who want to do something with their life. Like, so for example, like they have a goal and they get obsessed with it. So like Whiplash, Black Swan, Nightcrawler, that kind of thing. And it drives them a little bit crazy, and the film is sort of about how they balance their life and their creative life, their personal life and their creative life. That's sort of a subgenre that I really like. My least favorite film genre, are teen films. Teen films need to die. And we talked about this before. When characters are texting on their phone, and then the bubbles comes up on the screen. That is a trend that needs to die.
And then he loses 2,000 subscribers.
No. This is pure honesty. And especially those TV shows, like Riverdale is fine. Riverdale is one of those TV shows that's relatively competently put together, and it's so bad that it's good. However, there are shows out there like You that are just insufferable. The only redeemable quality of You is like the main actor, he's alright, but the rest of it is shit. Another quick one, genre that I absolutely despise are Wolf of Wall Street rip-offs. You know, films where like, it's sort of like...
The Big Short.
No, not The Big Short, but sort of like films where
Big
the people who make films, like the directors think that just because we show shots of like guys doing lines of cocaine, shooting guns and planting their face in gigantic tits, it does not make a good film. And there was this... and there was this one film called Gold with Matthew McConaughey that I have not seen, but I will watch it now. But one of my mates said that I should watch Gold, and I was like, is this what Gold is about? Then I took the next 2 minutes to describe the entire film to him, and he's like, you basically just described the entire film to me, and it's that predictable. It might be good, but it's that predictable, and these Wolf of Wall Street rip-offs...
What about like American Made?
That's not, I don't see that as a Wolf.
It's a similar story.
Yeah, the only Wolf of Wall Street rip-off. The only Wolf of Wall Street rip-off that I like is War Dogs. Congratulations on 10K, mate. What are your thoughts on Black Mirror? He's a Black Mirror expert. I've only watched the one with Daniel Kaluuya and the one where you choose stuff. Thoughts on Black Mirror?
I started watching it a year ago, maybe a bit more, and I really like them. I like the idea, the amount of creative energy that must take to think of something so different for each episode.
And quite fucked up.
You say that, it's not that far from our reality now. No. That's the shocking thing about it. It's not an unbelievable leap from how life is going today.
I would say though that we're just on the series alone. There's 5 seasons.
And each episode is different, right?
No. But I've liked all 3 I think 3 seasons, but this recent, it's either the 4th or the 5th season that's just come out with only 3 episodes. I didn't really like this last season. The one with Miley Cyrus, the one with...
It's Anthony Mackie's in one of them,
Anthony
right?
Mackie.
Yeah,
is
I haven't seen that.
They weren't as good as the others, but I really like it. Recommend it.
Okay. Next up, least favorite, most disappointing, most overrated films. Least favorite and most disappointing are the same. That's the Last Airbender
Pride
film.
and Prejudice and Zombies.
Oh my god, I've not seen that. Is that bad?
Oh my god.
No. Last Airbender. Last Airbender is my least favorite film and the most disappointing, which is why I'm very excited for the Netflix live action one.
Flick Fanatics, on behalf of Pamela.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, Jasper will be departing. He's got a train to catch. So right, big boy, fuck off.
Big boy.
Fuck off.
You should have come earlier.
Yeah. You woke up late.
We also watched The 5.
Yeah.
Did you? Should have done that.
Most overrated movies I've ever seen. A lot of people have also asked this. Like someone asked, like, what's one of like a cult classic that everyone likes but I don't. There are 2 that come to mind. The first one is, it's not that much of a classic, but it's Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I find that to be one of the most dull and boring and pretentious films ever made.
TV series or
a film. It has.
Do you like the TV series?
I haven't seen it. It has, in my opinion, one of the greatest British casts ever assembled, and yet the film just feels so dull and lifeless and unenthusiastic about its own existence.
Like Cats.
Like, I have not seen Cats. Have you seen Cats? I didn't think so.
This is like a good cast.
Contribute something else.
Yeah, contribute something.
This is good cast. Cats is a good cast.
No, but Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy has like every British actor you can think of, and yet I just feel like it has no energy. It's such a boring and lifeless and dull film. And another one that I think is a bit more controversial, and I know Elwood disagrees with me with this, but I think it's the most overrated film of the century so far, and that is Get Out. I think that Get Out is such a brilliantly written film. It's so smart. The twists are amazing. They work, and they make you want to watch the film again. The directing is solid. The acting is terrific. But I have no idea how people think it's that good. I think like Empire magazine put Get Out higher than like Lord of the Rings on like the best of the century list, and I think it's fucking atrocious. And I just think it's a film that is good, but just because it has like a black lead and it shows white people are evil, the message I think is just, and you know, I just think that especially nowadays, a lot of films seem to be vilifying white people, and I've just seen other films with a black protagonist or a colored protagonist that do it in a more nuanced and compassionate way, and that's just my opinion.
Well, the bad guy's always British.
Yeah, like you, William. Bad guys always look like Williams. Okay, next question. I need you to force you to. Okay, that's just my mate. Yeah, I'm not watching a Tyler Cohen. That's not happening. Right. Who is my favorite director? My favorite director of all time.
Who said this one?
My mate. No, my mate.
Yeah, you did favorite director.
Yeah. My favorite director is basically Damien Chazelle. Whose work do you particularly learn about filmmaking? Like all the influential directors that I just talked about. And finally, what directors have you not gotten a chance to get to but really want to? I don't know. I've watched like pretty much all. Up until recently, I never watched a Robert Altman film, and I've been watching a lot of his films recently, and I really enjoy them. Like The Long Goodbye, I think, is a Robert Altman film, which, by the way, is a fucking sexy title, and like 3 women with like Sissy Spacek. That one's great as well. So yeah, okay. So next question: you're stranded on a desert island. You can only choose one director's collections of films to bring with you to watch. Who do you choose? There's no TVs or whatever on the desert island, but hypothetically speaking, I would choose Peter Jackson, and I would just watch the extended cuts of the Return, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because it's a great story about survival and you know, enduring through hard times and perseverance and friendship and you know that kind of shit. And also, if I were to watch, like, because they're so long, by the time I'm like, you know, the rescue helicopter would be here, and I'd still be halfway through Fellowship. This is a great question. If you were to direct a movie with a cast of your choice, who would you pick?
This is controversial.
I would pick Williams as one of them, but I would not pick Elwood because he's an unprofessional dickhead. But I mean,
legally he has to pick me. We've made a pact.
We've made a pact, yeah.
Signed contract.
But also, like, speaking of professional actors, I think there's a bit of a disconnect between my favorite actors and the people that I would want to work with. Because people like Christian Bale or like Joaquin Phoenix, seem very intimidating, and I don't know if I'd ever want to work, if I'd have the balls to work with them. I would certainly love to work with Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Gosling, Michael Fassbender, Emma Stone, Kate Blanchett, Tilda Swinton, Daniel Craig would be quite cool. Andrew Garfield, I think Andrew Garfield seems awesome. Hugh Jackman is another one for me. Margot Robbie, I actually want to work with Margot Robbie because she produces a lot of her own films, so she's got like the business mind as well, and she's actually
great.
She's fucking competent.
In Birds of Prey.
Yeah, and
Kate Blanchett.
I would say Kate Blanchett. She's awesome. Rooney Mara is another one. Anna de Armas. Emma Stone. I've said that as well.
Have you? Oh,
yeah. But a lot of actors. Also, can we learn about a culture from the movies that the culture produces? What have you learned from the foreign films, and what are some of your favorites? I've already said what some of my favorite foreign films. But no, I think you can, and I think with every film that's made, yes, you can. But at the same time, I think there are films that are more specific. I think Parasite is, from what a lot of people have said on my Parasite video, a very accurate representation of Korean culture and what it is at the moment. Whereas I think with a director like Park Chan-wook, his films are a bit more universal, like Old Boy, The Handmaiden, or the other films in the Vengeance trilogy, or Stoker. Stoker is more like a Dario Argento inspired horror thriller than it is a Korean film. Old Boy I think it's very universal to the point where they remade Old Boy into. They remade Old Boy into like a Hollywood film, which obviously was not as good. But the universality of that film, I think, so it depends on the director and depends on what they're trying to say. Also, what inspired your interest in films? Already answered that. The next question: can I speak Thai? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And I can't. It takes me slower than the average person to read, and I struggle to write. Yeah.
You can't speak English either.
Yeah, funny. Congratulations. Here's my question. Why do you think that superhero films like Marvel are looked down upon by many directors and film critics? And how did this stereotype come to be? I think it's mainly because a lot of directors seem to feel that Marvel films are more about the spectacle and the visual effects and the explosions than the story and the characters, which I personally disagree with.
Yeah, I don't think that's wholly true.
I don't think that's wholly true at all. For example, I think that, like, for example, a film like Captain America: Civil War is so deeply rooted in characters and relationships, and it's very emotionally, driven. There are superhero films that are, very reliant on that, spectacle and blah 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 blah. But I think let's be honest here, the superhero films that are being recognized by awards and by people saying that they transcend the superhero genre, like the Dark Knight trilogy, like Joker, like Logan, are the ones that are more character focused than the average superhero film. They might not be as fun, but they're certainly more complex from a character and story point of view. And that's why perhaps they're getting the, highly regarded and stuff. But at the same time, a lot of people are saying, they're defending it by saying that, oh, well, superhero films are spectacle, and for as long as the world has existed, as long as films have existed, people have always gone to see films because they're events, they're experiences, like Lawrence of Arabia, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, like Star Wars, and those films are still considered cinema. Yeah. And I just think it's because maybe they're produced by Marvel, they're produced by Disney, and so many of them are churned out in one year that it feels like it's more of a manufactured product than a piece of art made by an artist, like David Lean or Peter Jackson or George Lucas.
Especially being a director, like an upcoming director, it must be annoying where you would try and get your films funded, get them shown when all people care about is, and that's concerning. That is genuinely concerning. And Tarantino, fun fact, Tarantino had his Hateful Eight booked for cinemas, and then Disney just came over and be like, you're going to show Star Wars instead. And Tarantino had to write a letter to Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, to ask him to back off and support smaller films. And I fucking love that from Tarantino. Okay, top 5 favorite Japanese movies. I already answered that. Jensen, our friend Jensen, just wrote "fuck off Greece." I think he's a bit sour that you kicked him from the group chat.
Yeah, but
was he going on?
Yeah, he was, but he was like,
he was one of the first members.
That meme where you just got someone sticking their head out of their hair, just literally.
Yeah, that's Jensen. Congratulations. What is a film that is loved by many but you don't like?
You already answered this.
Already answered that. What is your ultimate guilty pleasure movie? A lot of the Adam Sandler stuff a lot of the Adam Sandler stuff, like Just Go With It and Grown Ups. I love The Green Hornet. I absolutely love that film. And I'm considering making a video about why I love The Green Hornet so much. But yeah, those are some of my guilty pleasures. Congratulations, bro. Questions. What is your favorite all-time sci-fi film? Inception, if you count it as sci-fi, but it's not like hard sci-fi, but if it's like proper sci-fi, then Blade Runner 2049. Which cast is better, French Dispatch or Dune? I'm more excited for Dune. French Dispatch has a bigger cast. And Timothée Chalamet is like the lead in both, so he's got a great career, hasn't he? What is my most rewatched film?
Lord of the Rings?
No, I think Lion King, because I would watch that day to day, every day when I was young. Congratulations and thank you. I just wanted to know, what are your thoughts on The Walking Dead, Daredevil, you can chip in on this, and the Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Walking Dead, I really loved it. I stuck with it even when it was terrible, and I stopped after like the Negan stuff. Like, remember, like there's this one moment when like the tiger jumps in. I kind of stopped watching after that because I couldn't stand it anymore. As for Daredevil, I like all 3 seasons equally. Again, you can chip in a bit. I love Daredevil. I think it's the best superhero TV show ever. Live action, so nothing beats Batman animated series. But yeah, I think it has some of the best filmmaking. I think that season 2 is commonly seen as the weak one, but I really like it because it's 2 different stories. And if they had stretched that out, I think it would have been even better. But season 1 and season 3 are kind of like equally. I think season 3 is like season 1, but they had more money to do stuff with it. So like the long take sequences, the fight scenes are a little bit more like complex. What do you want to say about that? Because I know you feel differently.
I watched the first. I got bored as soon. Well, I didn't get bored, but I thought it was going to turn into. I kind of feel like it turned into like the sort of arrows and flashes.
Really?
That's way better.
No. Where they do the first season, it's great because it's all original. It's all like.
And they don't have a lot of money, so they have to.
So they really have to work on it.
Yeah.
And then after that, when it actually starts getting too like when the suit.
It becomes repetitive. You think it becomes repetitive? Okay.
I was a bit like it's gone a bit wet now.
By the way, I was a huge Arrow fan. I loved
Arrow.
And then I stopped after season 4 because season 4 was trash. And then I recently, because Arrow finished, I watched season 8. And I got really emotional because it ends, I think, very
as soon as it got very wet,
I think I just watched until Black Canary died.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my last episodes.
And then also Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. I love all of them, actually. I actually really like number 3. Because, again, for the guilty pleasure thing, I really like number 3. I'm aware that it's not a great film.
No, I love it too.
And I'm also very excited that Sam Raimi is now doing Doctor Strange too, apparently. Next up. Congratulations on the milestone. My question is, what's the movie where you love the visuals but don't like the overall film? And a movie where you don't like the visuals but love the film overall? I'm going to extend this question to you guys as well. For me, a film where I absolutely love the visuals, and I think it's one of the most beautiful films ever made, but I find it to be a boring slogfest, is The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Roger Deakins shot the living shit out of that film. It is truly breathtaking, but the film is so boring and so dull, and I've never been able to finish it without falling asleep or like dozing off. A film where I don't like the visuals, but I love the film overall. This is a harder one. I've been giving this a lot of thought. Maybe you could say that about the Marvel films, because they don't, say what you will about Marvel. When you compare their films to DC, I think DC, like the visual style of it is a lot more impressive.
Yeah.
Also with like Chris Nolan's early work, I often find that, because Nolan's actually colorblind, so I can't really hold it against him. His films are often like very grey and blue and like it's not very colourful. And I think that's something that has changed ever since Hoyte van Hoytema took over as cinematographer for Interstellar and Dunkirk and the upcoming Tenet. But I think when you look at like the Dark Knight films, they're very realistic, but they're very toned down. They're not very visually stylistic.
But
it suits
the world of the film.
Also the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That's more like I can see in. Actually, they're all kind of orangey. Those films.
Batman Begins is orangey,
but also Dark Knight's kind of orangey.
Do you think so? Because
I think
it's cold.
It's cold.
And then Dark Knight Rises as well. It's grey and I just think that. I love Nolan, and he's one of my favourite filmmakers, but I don't take a lot from him as a director, except for the way he kind of brings different timelines. We're doing that in our next film, I don't want to talk about that. And then, I just think like the way Zack Snyder films Batman, I think is so much cooler than the way Nolan films Batman. Okay. And hopefully the way Matt Reeves is going to film Batman is going to be awesome as well. And also another film where I love the film, but I don't massively love the visuals, is The Departed. even though it's my favorite Scorsese film, I feel like that says a lot about the rest of the film. But I just think that when you look at The Departed, yes, stylistically it works for the story, but when you compare The Departed to like, I don't know, like Taxi Driver, to Silence, to Hugo, to The Aviator, The Departed feels like, I don't know, it feels like very sort of mainstream in its visuals, but the story and the characters are so good that
it's based on character driven.
Yeah, it is a character driven. And also, The Departed is actually based off of a Hong Kong film called Infernal Affairs, which is also brilliant. But yeah. Oh, also, this question is very interesting, but I also like to extend another question to you guys, because I'm very interested to know what your response is. But would you rather have a film with a brilliant director and a terrible script, or an amazing script and a terrible director?
Amazing script, terrible director.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
You think? Okay, so because for me, a film with a brilliant script and a terrible director for me is Spotlight. I think Spotlight is such a compelling and riveting story with brilliant characters, but it has no visual style. It has it's just so bland, and I would never ever want to make a movie like Spotlight. On the other hand, when you look at a movie like Only God Forgives, which basically has no dialogue, Ryan Gosling says like 5 words in the entire film, but I learned from that film so much, especially like Nicholas Winding Refn's films have basically no talking, from Drive to like The Neon Demon or Too Old to Die Young.
Yeah, but you just said terrible script. The fact that he doesn't speak doesn't make it a terrible script.
I mean, think about it. When you look at Drive, right?
Yeah.
If Drive were to be directed by anyone else, I think it would be a trash film.
Yeah,
because the script is actually like, it's very simple. And things just kind of happen, and the character arcs are very anyone could make Drive, but the fact that Nicholas Winding Refn was the one who made Drive,
that's what makes the film. Yeah, that's what makes the film. But like, if it was a genuinely trash script, genuinely trash, I don't think even a great director can say that.
No. But I think
what would you do if Scorsese had the Green Inferno script?
I think Scorsese would direct the shit out of the Green Inferno script.
Oh yeah, a Green Lantern is it great?
Is it Green Inferno?
No. I'm saying just like going back to the old
Green Lantern,
like a shit film or something that was like had potential or anything. Crashed.
Green Lantern was directed by Martin Campbell, who did Casino Royale. But more about Casino Royale.
It's a good director of good potential. Absolutely.
I'll just put it out there though now that the only time for me where a script has been so bad that no brilliant director has been able to save it, the only time where it's just been like game over for me, is Game of Thrones season 8. It's one of the most well-directed shows, but I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, next question. First of all, question. Incredible work on the Parasite video, thank you. My question would be, as an aspiring film composer myself, what's the best way to contact you? Maybe have a conversation and see if our visions match up for any other projects. You can DM me on the Fanatics Instagram, or you can email me at panwa2544@gmail.com. Panwa spelled P-A-N-W-A, not Padawan, not Patrick, not Paul. Huh? Or you can't send messages via YouTube, no.
I thought you used to later.
But thank you, and I would love to have a chat with you about music. We are
actually don't have your email pop out because you just get everyone emailing.
Yeah.
You've got 10, it's too many people. You're too big. You're too big a celebrity.
Okay. Next question. Next question. If you had 1 million subscribers, what kind of content would you create? Do you think your life would drastically change if this was to happen? Yes. I think my life would drastically change if I had 1 million followers, because at that point, I would be probably making money. Even though, because I want to say, off these YouTube videos, I don't make a single dime. Money has never been the end goal for me, ever, in anything ever.
But also in all the films we make, we don't.
Yeah, we don't make money. We don't have a budget. We don't make money. It's.
We do it because. Why do we do it?
We do it because we love making movies. It's Quentin Tarantino says.
Let's do it one more time. Why? Because we love making movies.
If I had 1 million subscribers, I would have enough money to finance proper films. And that would be life-changing.
I mean, it wouldn't be that much money.
No, not that much money, but if I had millions of followers or whatever, I would.
Would you stay on YouTube, or would you?
I would use it as a means for me to share my filmmaking experiences with the general public. Next question: how old were you? My guess is 23. I'm 18, but I'm going to take that as a fat compliment, even though it's probably not. Because if I was 20, no, I don't wish I was 23. I wish that this guy I wish that every bouncer at every nightclub in Thailand has this guy's mentality, so I don't have to get ID'd. What are your future plans for the channel? Like I said, more video essays, but slightly fewer this year specifically, because I'm going to be giving my all to the feature film, and we've already spent a good chunk of time working on it, shooting it. We're going to be reshooting, we're going to be rewriting, we're going to be doing this and doing that. But I'm really planning on kind of having that be sort of, because I'm on a gap year right now, and I kind of want that to be like sort of my legacy for this gap year. Next question. What are your favorite films? Who are your favorite filmmakers from the following countries? Iran, Japan, South Korea, Turkey, and the Netherlands. Feel free to talk about any other country where English is not the main language. Iran, the only director I can think of is the guy who made A Separation and The Salesman, which are both very highly regarded films that have won Oscars. However, I find them to be films that are incredibly substance over style. Like those movies, like what I've just said, they're very good films, but the visuals are like non-existent. It's just all like handheld shots that follow people around. Every room is like grey or like, you know, like brown, and there's no visual flair whatsoever, but I really like them. Japan, I've already talked about. South Korea, I've already talked about. I don't know Turkey very well. Netherlands is Paul Verhoeven, and he still makes films that are incredibly stylized to this day. Haig Saunders says, well done Greece, unreal mate. Cheers Haig Saunders, looking forward to the day you get 10k as well. Congrats on 10k.
I actually have 2 good films from non-speaking English.
Yeah,
a couple of good French ones.
Yeah,
Untouchable is obviously like
well,
a big one. But also
Untouchable, yeah.
Canadian French is Mummy. It's called. It's spelled
Mummy. by Xavier Dolan. The aspect ratio is very. It's almost like it's shot on an iPhone, right? Yeah. And Xavier Dolan made his first film when he was 20. Hopefully, we'll get this film done when we're 18. So you know, because the average age of a director when they make their first film is 32, apparently. But Mummy's great. No. I did not expect that you've seen that. Fucking hell, respect. Yeah, go on.
Mine's a Swedish film
called
100-Year-Old Man Who Jumps Out a Window.
Elwood has been telling me to watch it.
Have you seen it? It's actually a great film.
No, books. Read the books. Books are much better.
Yeah. No, I think the film is great.
By Jonas Jonasson.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Really, and if we're talking about French film directors that I fucking love, there are 2 French film directors who are absolutely just amazing. One guy is called Jean-Pierre Melville, who made this film called Le Samurai and Army of Shadows. He was very ahead of his time. Some say that Le Samurai inspired Drive, which I would agree to a certain extent. And there's also a director called Jacques Tati who made a film called Playtime, which if you were to watch Playtime in the year 2020, you would still think that it was made in the future. It is that ahead of its time, and I just love that film so much. What is a beloved cult classic film that is completely overrated? And also, Will You Be My Valentine? As flattering as that is, I'm not gay. But also, to answer the question, is Panois gay? No, I'm about as straight as Henry Cavill's jawline. But no, I would talk about that. Get out. How would you describe your visual aesthetic? I'll let you say. So far in my films, I say a lot. I love Sam Mendes. I love Damien Chazelle. I love Wong Kar-wai. I love Cary Fukunaga. I think that the film that I've made that, in my opinion, is the most like me is Unforgettable. Yeah. I would say like recently, just watching the trailers for No Time to Die, the new Bond film. Every time I watch that film, every time I watch one of the trailers, I'm like, and I see it, I'm like, that's me. I would want to do that. That's how I would want to do things. Yeah. How many languages?
I think it's fair to say that you haven't yet found.
No. Because like, I make black and white films. I make handheld driven films. I make films that are all set on a tripod. I make films where no one speaks. You can see some similarities. Yes. If I were to judge myself as a filmmaker, I would say that my best moments are the moments when no one talks and it's just action. Not action as in like fighting, but like whether it's like dancing or like writing or people just walking around.
Dancing in the loosest sense of the word.
Yeah. But no, I just think that my favourite moments on film are the ones when no one talks. Okay, how many languages can you speak? Since you said you are Asian, I wonder where you're from. I'm from Thailand. I speak Thai and I speak English. Okay. There are a couple more. Top 5 favorite movies, already said this. What is your favorite YouTube channel other than my own? Chris Stockman is my favorite YouTube channel. His reviews, I love his reviews. I think I agree with almost all of his reviews. I love his taste. Another one that I used to love was Casey Neistat. I know you love Casey Neistat. I know you love Casey Neistat. I don't really watch Casey Neistat anymore. I don't watch him anymore.
He doesn't really do any more videos.
But I used, like when he was doing the daily vlogs, I love Casey Neistat. But I feel like Casey Neistat is every YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. And I also love.
He did a really good one the other day.
Did it?
Yeah. It's the only one I watched in a really long time. It was a new plane one.
Oh right, yeah, I love his plane reviews.
And there was a really good one. That was really good.
No, but I watched Grace from Beyond the Trailer a lot. I don't always agree with everything she says and her taste in films, but I really like the way she presents the videos and the fact that she does videos about basically everything. Because I like watching videos about like just breaking down like costumes from set photos and stuff. Okay, what are your other interests in films? Are you sports, music, games? Sports,
I can answer this.
No. Sports. Okay. Before I loved films, my obsession was actually football, and I was a huge United supporter from 2011
Manchester
United from 2011 to 2016, where we went through that whole like David Moyes stint, and it was just I couldn't play football though. Music, most of the music I listen to is music from films. Is music from films. My favorite song of all time is "Move Like Jagger." I know it's a generic one, and I really like Maroon 5. But no. But they've kind of like, I remember Jasper actually said to me once that they've kind of sold out a bit, and their music isn't as good as it used to be. And I would agree.
They're following
the trend. But
that's the only way.
My favorite album of Maroon 5 is Overexposed or Hands All Over, and yeah, Move Like Jack is my favorite song of all time. And in terms of games, my favorite video game is GTA 5, GTA Online. Yes. I've been playing GTA Online for about 6 years now. I'm very good, not to be
PUBG.
PUBG, love a bit of PUBG. No, but I don't play PUBG because I love the game. I play PUBG as a means to play with friends, to talk, as an opportunity to talk. My favorite game series of all time is Assassin's Creed. 2 and 4 are basically masterpieces. 2 and Black Flag. 3 is the one I played the most.
You like Black Flag?
Black Flag and 2 are my favorite.
4 is Revelations.
No, 4 is Black, like as in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Not the 4th game. But no, Black Flag and 2 are my favorites.
Which one's 2? Is that
2 is 2.
The Ezio, the one with
Ezio.
That's the best one.
That they have on map.
No, I feel like that's one. It's kind of seen as like the Dark Knight of the Assassin's Creed games. It's brilliant. I've played 3 the most. Like I've played 3 so much that I have like Assassin's Creed 3 with Connor and also fun fact, the composer of that film of that game is also Lorne Balfe, who's the composer of Mission Impossible Fallout, and the music's great. I played that film. I've played that game so much that I have every outfit, even the one where you have to run around the map and get all the feathers from the trees. I have every outfit. However, I think the obviously you've got like the classic like Mario Kart. Okay, hang on. Who's your go-to Mario Kart character?
Toad.
I don't play Mario Kart.
Yeah. Waluigi was always mine.
A
couple of Wii games like the Wii Sports Resorts. The Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. I have we talked about this last time. I have all the Force Ghosts. The best PlayStation game, like not my favorite, but the objective best perhaps, is The Last of Us. I think that game is basically perfect, which is why
that's not PlayStation.
Yeah, it is. Last of Us is PlayStation exclusive.
It was PC as well.
I don't know, but it's PlayStation. I know it's not on Xbox.
No, it's not.
It's so good, and I'm so pumped for Last of Us Part 2 and Cyberpunk 77? Red Dead. Yeah, Red Dead. I made a video about that. That's Rockstar. I love Rockstar and Naughty Dog. And Ubisoft before they became Ubisoft with a $sign. That's people used to say that now. What is your favorite opening and favorite ending scene of all time? Ending's easy. Whiplash is my favorite ending of all time.
I was going to say Whiplash.
No, Whiplash. And then Inception is good.
We know him.
Yeah, Inception is good. La La Land is good. I often
Drive.
Drive is my favorite opening. Really.
Yeah, no, I'm going on the opening.
And then Return of the King is one of my favorite endings. Also, I just want to put it out there that one of the things I love about certain films is the relationship between the opening shot and the closing shot. And I think that if you watch any of my films, you'll notice that the opening shot and the closing shot is very intentional. Like in all of my films, I can explain every single one forever, but I'm not going to. But when you look at like Gone Girl, the opening shot and the closing shot are the same thing.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, and it's brilliant, and stuff like even like Whiplash, which I'm about to get to. Like it starts off as a wide shot, of Miles Teller drumming, and he's wearing Miles Teller is wearing a white shirt at the beginning, and he wears a black shirt at the end. And instead of the camera dollying in slowly, it just zooms into him as it cuts to black, right? And I think that's such a great dynamic. And as for my favorite opening scenes, Drive, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, The Godfather. The Godfather's awesome. The long take, the Bonacera.
Really, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
I think it's one of my favorites.
I love The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
I think we up there.
Whiplash is a great opening because I think when I watched Whiplash for the first time and it opens with a wide shot of Miles Teller, I thought that it would cut to a close up of him, and when it started dollying in, I was like, oh, okay. And The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight has a brilliant opening.
The Dark Knight.
I often find the best opening scenes are the ones that almost function as a short film on its own. You know, but you know what I mean. How do you go about analyzing a movie? What is your process? I don't really have a process. I just watch the film, and if I like it, I like. I from what I hear, like some people have a notepad and they write down like notes. I don't do that.
He uses his brain.
That's sort of DOP.
Which also means that if you have a conversation with him, basically every single sentence is going to have some sort of movie quote in it. Yeah. Also, if he is having a conversation with the one who was here before, they don't actually speak English.
We don't speak English. We just speak in film quotes. We speak in American Psycho.
No, they speak in everything.
They speak in everything.
They speak Gordon Ramsay. They speak Roll Out.
And honestly, it doesn't make any sense.
You're not terribly important to me.
You're not terribly important to me.
I've assessed the situation and I'm leaving.
I've assessed the situation and I'm going.
Honestly, I think Hamill could like.
I know my behavior can be erratic sometimes.
I know my behavior can be erratic sometimes.
Final question, and I think this was the first question that was asked. But I think it's a brilliant question. How do you feel about the phenomenon of older movies being revered and held to a status that newer films can't possibly live up to? The Godfather and Citizen Kane are held on a pedestal of untouchable cinema, but is this true? What is your take on this? And also, can a new movie released today ever be unanimously seen as one of the great films of all time? Like, for example, Citizen Kane or The Godfather? Because no movie so far from the 2000s, from what I can tell, despite that being an influx of amazing films.
When Citizen Kane and Godfather came out, were they...
Was the original boom of the movie?
No, because Citizen Kane didn't win Best Picture.
Exactly.
2001 was not like Fight Club was seen as a shit film.
I don't think it's fair to judge a film nowadays and say, oh, this is going to be a classic. You need the hype.
So look, I think for me personally, I think that the two films that you've mentioned, Citizen Kane and The Godfather, there are a lot of films that when you grow up, you hear old people talk about, and they say that it's so good and it will change your life. And a lot of them, some of them aren't true. But in the case of Citizen Kane and The Godfather specifically, especially The Godfather, it exceeded my unsurmountable expectations. I think The Godfather is truly one of the great films, a great film ever made, and in my opinion, is the most complete film ever made. Like it is part one. Scorsese prefers part two apparently, but yeah. But I think part one is a perfect film, or as close as you can get to a perfect film. I think that there are very few films out there that are kind of could be closely seen as perfect. I think Godfather is one of them, and I think The Social Network, I think is one of them as well. And as for films, right? How about we go around the table and name 3 or 4 films that we think within 50 years will actually be seen on the same level as
Saving Private Ryan.
So you think Saving Private Ryan, Williams?
I really can't tell because
I'm going through and I can't think of any. I can't think of any before 2010. I mean after 2010.
You can't think of any. I can think of.
No, because I just don't think La La Land.
No, I'm not going to say La La Land.
Because I think films that I think are great and truly great, but then also I think
they stand the test of time.
Yeah, I don't know if they will stand the test of time because it also depends on how.
I definitely think Saving Private Ryan always.
I think
I think Schindler's List will stand the test more so than Saving Private Ryan.
No. I think I
think Dark Knight will stand the test of time. Out of all of Nolan's
films. It's you've still got that sort of action element, and will that still be popular?
Will it still hold up?
Will it still hold up?
I think what's called. Every war film ever made will
1917.
No, 1917. I think every war film ever made will be compared to Saving Private Ryan. I don't think. I
don't agree because I watched Dunkirk and I watched 1917, and neither of them are compared to Predator.
Yes, but 1917 when it came out, everyone said it's the best war film since Saving Private Ryan.
Okay, let me tell you something.
Well, I never saw it like that.
Let me tell you.
I love
Predator,
but I think 1917 is just.
I'm just going to quickly rebuttal and say why I think Saving Private Ryan may not stand the test of time. My opinion is, when you look at a lot of the films that have in fact stood the test of time, like Lawrence of Arabia or The Godfather or Citizen Kane, there's a certain visual language about those films, the way they're shot and the way they're cut that feel inherently cinematic. And with Saving Private Ryan, it was kind of made just when handheld and quick cuts were becoming a thing. And now people have regressed from that, right? Because there was like a Bourne era of, one of my favorite, if not my favorite opening of all time, Casino Royale. I forgot about that. Thank you, Casino Royale.
What when he shoots it from the bar.
Black and white. Anyway, there's this whole era of films that are shot in handheld, close-up, quick-cut editing, and now it's not become the fashion anymore.
Wasn't the hype about it?
And Saving Private Ryan, in my opinion, the first chunk of it is like that. It's the most effective use of handheld I've ever seen. It was meant to be
the most realistic war film ever created.
Yeah.
But then again, what you're saying about Citizen Kane and Godfather is that they're shot like how they're visually shot.
Yeah.
I think that's going to become less of a factor now. I think later on in life that will become less of a factor.
There's a difference between films that are going to stand the test of time and films that changed
over time
how movies were created and made. And I think Saving Private Ryan is one of those that changed the genre and changed just how we
the way it's used handheld is.
But it might not. It won't go down as one of the classics. It'll come because you obviously have the classics, but then you also have the game changers that the rule breakers. That aren't held on the same level.
I'm just going to quickly say 3 films that I think from this last decade, 2010s, that in my opinion, have stood the test of time. And this is based on people who have talked about it on the internet film community, from Letterboxd to Instagram to YouTube. The 3 films that I think are truly going to stand the test of time are Parasite, Blade Runner 2049, which I mean, it's my 5th or 6th favorite film of the decade. But I can see why people because
I don't really like it. No, I mean, I loved it. I loved it, but I don't think it will stand the test of time. Because Blade Runner will always be better.
You think Blade Runner will? I know a lot of people will always prefer. I prefer 2049, and also I think Roma will stand the test of time. Roma will be seen as one of the greatest modern black and white films, if not the one black and white.
Riddick will stand the test of time.
Oh my god!
No, I was going to say Parasite. I think. I don't know if Parasite will stand the test of time because it won Oscar. Because it won the Oscar.
That's my concern. I don't want people to immortalize Parasite as the first Asian film to win Best Picture.
No, but I want people.
That's going to end up happening. Yeah. But I want people to immortalize Parasite as a truly fucking breathtaking piece of filmmaking. Yeah. Because if I were to make a film, it would break my heart for people to say it's a brilliant film by an Asian director, or this person is the first Asian person to do this, or the first Asian person to do that.
I think the whole point
I
about
want
films
to judge based off of the quality of the film, not the skin color, not ethnicity, not gender, not race, sexual orientation. It should be judged based on the merits of the film. Moonlight is a brilliant film, not because it has black people, not because it has gay people, because it is a bloody brilliant piece of cinema. Same thing with Call Me By Your Name or Lady Bird.
See, I think maybe Moonlight might be one of them.
Because you think Moonlight's going to say okay?
But then again, I think that's also because it's a black gay film.
So
no.
Don't say it because mate, my audience aren't snowflakes.
Are they not?
No, none of my audience are fucking snowflakes. I love my audience. I love you guys. One final point before we say our goodbye. Thank yous and goodbyes. A lot of people ask me sort of how did I get into filmmaking? What inspired me? And the YouTube thing is actually a big part because I would not have the confidence to work as a director and ask people, do you want to be in my films?
But it also if I did platform.
I would not have a platform. And something that really pisses me off is when people say I really want to be a director and I really want to make films, and they haven't, Yeah. I understand if you might not have the actors or you might not have the level of support that I was lucky enough to have. Or you might not have the equipment, or you might think that, you know what, I want to learn more, I want to watch more, I want to hone my craft and then make it. If that's the case, then hell yeah. But a lot of people are saying, I want to make films, and they don't actually commit to it. They say, you know, I want to be this, I want to be that, but they never actually do it. And you know this, that one of the things that I hate most in the world is people who don't know what they want or like inaction. Because I just find that like,
you know, found that out last night.
Like, indecisiveness, I just find like, it really like pisses me off when people say, I want to do something, but they never actually do it. Because then don't say it and don't commit to it.
Well, I think also the thing with you is like you take great photos as well.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that it fuels your
everything.
Cinematography because if you I look at some of the photos that you've taken and I see that's influenced this shot.
Exactly.
So I think.
I learn from everything. I try to learn from everything.
I really think the only thing you really need to go to film school for is genuinely your writing.
My writing, yes, because I hate writing dialogue and I'm terrible at it. Which is
why
Williams and Jasper are. No, and also I love the fact that people I have people to tell me what I'm shit at, because if that's not, you know, like if people like beat around the bush and don't, you know, then what's the point?
There's only honesty here.
Yeah. But no, I am incredibly grateful to the YouTube community, to the film community, for kind of allowing me to make videos and not completely shitting on them, because you know there are people out there.
Would you mention YouTube if you won an Oscar?
Yes. Yeah, of course I would. Like I wouldn't be like I don't know what I'm gonna say. I wouldn't. Yes, I would, and it's not one of the like I will. If I ever make it big, I will remember who and what was important to me when I was a nobody. And on that note, we shall end the Q&A.
As the rain comes in.
As the rain pours down. Fuck, we're going to have to hang around here for a while, won't it?
That's all right. I think the housemates have left.
Oh, the housemates have left?
Well, someone just left.
Right, but anyway, we're going to stop recording now, but we might film some random shit for later. But no, thank you very much for watching the Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we haven't dragged it on for too long, even though I know we have. I hope you enjoyed meeting some of the old Flick Fanatics. Even though Ned wasn't here, I would have loved if Ned was here. But yes, thank you very, very much for watching, guys. Thank you.